Okay, so the first thing we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about your tax project. Okay. No, I did not completely grade your research projects, but I'll be happy to talk about them tonight. Did we all get them done? Okay, we're not talking about them yet tonight. Okay, so we're going to talk about your tax projects instead. So I have everything that you need to do. I did not release it out there yet because I'm going to walk through it with you guys, and then as long as it makes sense, I'm going to post it online. But I'm recording what we're doing for the online people to listen to, but I didn't want to post it if it didn't make sense to you guys, even though I gave it to Jenna. Jenna walked through it. She doesn't know what the heck we're doing, and it made sense to her, but we'll go ahead and just make sure it makes sense. So, right, we're going to walk through how you purchase it, and then what you're supposed to do when you purchase it, both things. So what I did is I actually created my own set of instructions that will lead you to their instructions. So it's kind of like a combo piece. So that's kind of what I did. So now I got to remember. I just remembered. It's been a couple weeks since I recorded, so I forgot how I have to put my screen up there so they can see it. They're looking at it. You guys just aren't looking at it. There it goes. Okay, so what you... There it goes. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so this is when you go to the website, which I'm going to hand these out to you guys right now. And for those that are listening to this, this is all going to be online. And I'll post it to you guys as well, in case you need to do it again. All right, so it's easy. It's cybertext.com is the website. All right, that is going to take you to a site that looks like this. All right, I tell you to do it, but unless you plan on buying it right now, it's really not going to matter. But it's going to take you to a site like this, which is what I show you on the first page. And the first thing you're going to do is go to Account Setup, which takes you to a page like this, which is on the second page of what I just gave you. So I'm trying to give you all the wonderful screens that you'll see. So you'll go through, you'll enter your information, which I have to do so I can show you the next page. And then whatever email address you want to use, you do not have to use your school one. Oops. All right, and then there is no hard copy available, so you say no. Shipping address, don't worry about it. Then this number here, go ahead and use your A number. That's how I'm going to track you when you submit it, all right? And then you come down here and do the drop down. You drag it down, and we're tucked down in here. I got to tell you, the first 2 times I did not see me, and I was like, we're not listed in here. So it's alphabetical, but I still missed myself. So you click on St. Louis Community College, we're the only one, and then you're going to hit Submit Form. Oh, okay. All right, then it's going to review what you have, and then it's going to give you 3 options. You guys really only have 2. The third one's called a token, which, because we got a late start, would have been at the bookstore. But I tried to get it at the bookstore, but the bookstore didn't know what the heck I was doing, and it really confused them. So we just kind of stopped. And it wouldn't have been any different than the way we're doing it, so that's why we just stopped. So you can do credit card, or you can do personal check if you want to. And then you hit submit. So when you hit submit, you'll go through and be able to enter. You can see the next 2 screens I can't do, but if you look, I have them on here. Okay, I was able to take them from what they gave me. So you can either say put your credit card information in, or you can put your bank account information in, whichever way you want to do it. And then what you're going to get once you do that is you're going to get a user ID and you're going to get a passcode. All right. Mine was pretty like RB with 4 numbers next to it. So I don't know if yours are going to be your first initial, last initial, and 4 numbers just like mine was, because I have a student account as well, and that's how they did mine. And then they gave me a passcode. Okay. Once you get those, then you get to go download it. Okay. When you go to download, you kind of start back over. Now, it will let you, once you get through this, you can download right from there. Right? And that's what this last page says, that you can select to download. Now, when it says it, I will tell you that I was confused the first time I went out there. And what it says is, and if you can read my little writing there, select the Excel file you want to download. And when I first looked at it, I'm like, and you have 2 ways to pick the Excel file. One is 2007 newer, and one is older. Pick newer, 2007 newer, and then just hit the save button. And it's going to populate an Excel file for you, and it's going to ask you, which you'll see down here, where you want to save it. You pick where you want to save it. It is creating your tax file. That is what that top box is doing. When you select save that Excel file, I didn't know what it was doing. I actually did it 3 times, and it just overwrote my file, so you don't want to go back and do it again once you start working. It just kept overwriting it. But you want to select it and save it wherever you want to do it. So your hard drive, your flash drive, don't do it here at the college because it's going to make it go away. All right, select a place you want to save it, and then you go ahead and submit the form, and you can see down here, this is where you're saving it to wherever you want to do it. All right? That is your working document. Now the other arrow I have down here, and they can't see what I'm pointing to on here. The other arrow I have, and you'll see it when you look online, says when you are done submitting it, you will upload here. When you get to where you download your file, you'll also see on the very bottom it says upload your file. That's where you're going to go when you're done, or you just want it graded. When you upload your file, it will grade it. All right. So if you want to see how you're doing, you can upload the file anytime you want, and that's where the grading will take place. All right. So that's how you can get it graded. So you upload your file the same place you download. So when you go into CyberTax, if I were to do this again, and I would just go into the book list, and I go down here to my tax book. This is where it's asked for my username and password, which I'm going to draw a blank on. Hang on a second. That's my user ID. I'm trying to remember my password, because then I can show you what it's going to look like. All right, hang on 1 second. I will look up my password. I do have it. Okay, so this is what the tiny print looks like. Once you have purchased it and you get in, the tiny print that you're seeing. So this is your option. You say select, and then you say make Excel file. That's what makes your document the one time. And then it's going to say where do you want to save it. Like if I were to go ahead and do this, and I'm not going to save it, because then it's going to create me another one. I don't want to do that. But it's going to come up after a few seconds, and it's going to say, where do you want to save it? And it says, there's my file. RB706 has been recreated. Right-click on it and save it. So that's what you would do. You would right-click on it, and you would save it. Right? Right-click it and save it to where you want to go. So right-click, save as, and you'd save it to wherever you want to save it. That's how you would start. I'm going to show you what RB, actually I'm going to, you know what, I will go ahead and save it because I've done this so many times. Look, it's already exists. We're going to save it to, don't go there. Let's save it to my desktop. Okay, then once you're done, we're going to go back to the previous page. If you were done, see here it says click below to upload your file after you've worked on it. The file you upload is the same one you downloaded. So you come in here, you browse for it, and you keep it the exact same name. Do not add to it and say your name. Do not add to it and say version 1, version 2. You have to keep it exactly the same way, because that's how it knows how to grade it. That's how it knows who you are. All right, so do not change it. So that's how you'd upload it, and then you'd hit upload now, and that's how it goes in and gets graded. Okay, so that's how you get it. Right? You don't have to get it now. You can get it now. We still have, we haven't even made it to Thanksgiving yet. All right, so it's the 1st of November. You still got over 6 weeks left of class. But I know some of you are anxious. I've had several people online email me saying I don't know how to get this, and I'm trying. So I know people are anxious to get it, I think, and look at it. The next document I'm going to hand out, and I'm going to show you what it looks like for those, and you guys are going to see it, so you don't actually have to go buy it to see what it looks like. I'm going to show you. This is my handwritten document, instructions. Oh, sorry. These are also going to be online for those that are listening, because they can't quite see them because I didn't have them on the file yet. So this right here is what you are going to get when you go into, this is the very first page, when you go into the project. Now, some of the things on the first page that I'm going to read to the people listening, but they'll be able to see it. The reason I'm doing this is because you guys get immediate feedback. One of the things I've told you about before, you don't have to wait. You're going to know your score before, and you're going to know exactly. If you're happy with an 80%, you can be done. If you want to get 200 out of 200, you can do it as many times as you want. And the person that I got this from was that person, all right? Because she was getting ticked. She couldn't get the Social Security number right. I will round up, all right? So if you're sitting there and you're getting a nitpicky, a tenth of a point because something's wrong with the Social Security number, that is not going to keep you from getting that 99.9%, okay? That's going to get you the 100% score. So don't worry about that. If you look at the information, you can see, like, it shows my name, Robin Barrett, 1234, R. Barrett, 4 numbers, and the school. You're going to have that information print out just like it shows up here. You're going to have that listed across here just like it's showing for me. So your information is going to print right there. All right. They suggest you keep 2 copies of your file. I would too. All right. If you lose it, I do not have a copy. I might have the one that you upload as your last one, but that could be, who knows what you've done since then. So I recommend you keep a copy of it, whether you keep one on your desktop and one in your flash drive, or however you want to keep it. Coming the week before and telling me you've lost it, there's not a lot I can do. It's kind of like losing your your other tax. You've got to keep 2 copies of it. All right. One of the things that they make a comment of right here as well, and I'm going to, it's not letting me go, oh. Okay, there we go. So it also says you might find it easier to take a hard copy of the fact sheet. I'm going to show you that. This is not, what I'm handing you and talking about right now, this is not your fact sheet. Okay. Each case is designed specifically for you, and the facts are different, and I do suggest that you print the fact sheet. You're going to be given approximately 20 different assumptions, all right, from the cost, from the name all the way down to cost of airfare. You can see that you're going to be given 2 W-2s, a 1099, a 1099 INT, 1098, and a Schedule K, and then they want you to prepare, and I give you the different documents you're going to have to prepare. So the fact sheet is the first tab, and this is your fact sheet. So it starts with, this is the case for me. This is my client. They give me the address. They tell me what he does, my kid, my child. I have a K-1. I have a W-2. I have a 1099. I have interest. It goes down. It lists out. It lists out everything I have, steps 1 through 20. I went on a business trip. I had a tornado damage. I have an IRA. It lists everything out. The next tab gives you a copy of my K1. We haven't talked about K1 yet. Obviously, we're going to, right? The next tab gives me my 1098. The next tab, 1098T, sorry, 1099 INT, 1099 DIV, and then we got a W-2, and we got another W-2. And then you get into, here's your tax form. It's your first tax form. So you have to, as you can see, enter. They don't actually tell you does every box, but if it's not necessarily blue, do I still need to check it? Well, yes. So obviously I need to check married, single, even though it's not blue. So you still need to pay attention to it even though they're not necessarily blue. And it goes through the whole form. Now if you go to the right, it goes on with all the other forms. We got Schedule A, Schedule B, and the information, this is the good part of this one, it does flow. All right? So when you're done on the bottom of Schedule C, and you come down here, and you come up with the final number, net profit or business, and then you go to Schedule page 2. Actually, it was page 1, sorry. I just looked at it and went to the next page. This number will flow, if needed, over to your 1040. You do not have to take it, which you would have on the paper copy. All right. And then same for your Schedule D. Here's your Schedule E, same thing. So any of the numbers that are on these forms that flow to the Schedule D, 1040 will flow to the 1040. You just have to do them right here. Obviously, if you do them wrong here, the wrong number is going to flow. So I suggest that when you go through and do this, you do one form at a time. Right? If you're going to start with the W-2s, start with the W-2s. Get everything you can fill out on the 1040 first, fill it out. Get the name, get the kids, get the social security numbers, and then do the W-2s, and then say, okay, now what's next? Right? And then say, okay, I'm going to work on itemized deductions. Work on itemized deductions. Figure that out, and then move on to the next form. If you try to jump around, you're going to get lost. Right? And that's the same thing we tell the VITA students. You try to do one thing, you group everything together. You do all your income, then you do all your deductions. I suggest you try to work on this the same way. So that's why I do agree with them. You really should go back, and one of the first things you want to do is print this, whoops, keep going, fact sheet. And you can copy it into a Word doc and just copy without the formatting, and it will copy fine. And then you could check it off, and it will copy prettier than this if you want to. You can print it right from here. That way you can cross things off as you do them. You can print the W-2s, you can print the 1099s, you can print a lot of things from here if you kind of want to work from it on paper instead of going back and forth and looking at the information. So if you want to do it that, you can print all the information you're entering and go from that way too. Alright, so before, obviously you haven't done anything, is there any questions that you see just from looking at it? That's one of the reasons I'm bringing it up now. You don't have, like I said, you don't have to go out and buy it now, but this way, as you have time to get in there and be like, since it is the first time we've used it, to ask questions. If there's questions that come up that I haven't seen yet, you've got plenty of time to ask them as you go into them. If you try to do it from home and you run into a problem, then send me an email and ask me what it is. Chances are, if you're having a problem, someone else is having the same problem, so let me know what it is. You don't have to wait a week to ask me what it is, or tell me what it is so I can figure out what the answer is. I might not necessarily know off the top of my head.
So when are you going to get the feedback?
Well, you have to upload it. Upload it, yeah. And you can do it. I mean, when Colleen was towards the end and she only had like a few things that were wrong, she'd change it and upload it. Change it and upload it, because uploading it is what does the grading. I can see what you're doing when you upload it, but I can't see what you're doing when you just have it on your hard drive. So if you're stuck and you're like, but it keeps grading it and I'm wrong, you're going to need to upload it so I can look, and then I might be like, did you think about this, you know, or did you, then I can give you a hint. I can't necessarily, now, give you a hint without looking at it, but depending on what you're doing, I might not need to see your project. You know, you can ask me a question, and it doesn't mean I need to see your actual forms. Just like the old tax project. I could answer questions without seeing what you're doing. It just depends on what step you're on. And now that you guys all have different numbers, it will be a little bit harder for me to answer your question without seeing your project, but it just depends on what you're doing. All right, any other questions on that for now? I think
When you say the numbers flow, does that mean they can fill themselves into forms?
they fill themselves into forms. So like, for example, you know, when we're looking at the 1040, so like, for example, we're looking at the 1040, and right here is the Schedule E. That number, once you figure it out on the Schedule E, will come automatically to here. Just like if you were using TurboTax, okay? That will come over. As long as you do it right. You know, if you accidentally skip a line or something gets wrong on that form, then it won't. But as long as you fill it in correctly. And the other thing is, these numbers here, this total income, that will add up. So when you type in, I say that, it should. I thought it did. Now I'm going to prove myself wrong. I thought they did it. What about the bottom one? Okay, I thought those were totaling numbers, but obviously you have to add up, you have to total your numbers, but they are supposed to flow from the other sheet. So now let's make sure I'm not saying something that's wrong. Let's go over to Schedule A. That's an easy enough one. And let's total itemized deductions. 20,000. Now, I don't know if it's not flowing because I haven't typed anything in though either. Like I haven't done any of the header information. It was my understanding that it flowed through. So I will double check on that, and then I will let you guys know if I don't, but either by email or I will tell you at the next class. It was my understanding that it flowed through. I can understand why it doesn't add up. It's wanting to make sure you guys know where to put the totals. But I thought it flowed through, so I will find that out. Because obviously it's not right there. Now that one's a tricky one, I guess, because you're supposed to know whether it's standard deduction or itemized deduction. Let's try. Oh, I put numbers there. Okay, yeah, I'll find out if it's because I just didn't start from the beginning and enter stuff or what. So I'll find that out and let you guys know. See, already a good question. Any other ones? All right.